Okay, so some thoughts on Lou and Zara and what much ado about Lou, okay? So the last couple days, as we all know, Louis is in Coachella, and I've seen posts about mainly in a couple of Larry Stylinson chat rooms and Facebook groups, people in this despair over Louis and Zara, and Zara confirming she's with Louis because she tagged something from like a lunch they had in Malibu, something like that. And it's just, who cares? Now, a few very despairing uh, posts appear to say things such as, I feel like I'm going through a breakup because I'm seeing like Lou's with Zara, and this whole thing about, what does this mean for Harry and Larry? And oh my God, people calm down. Calm down. You know, it is great that people find a lot of inspiration in Larry. And I think that these stories of connection, they can be real heart openers because in a world full of catfishes and Tinder swindlers and people that are less than honest in the online dating, especially online dating, I have a whole thing about online dating, how much I hate it because there isn't the organic meeting of people. And I think online dating is much more likely to have people encounter others that are really not sincere in their intentions and also have attachment issues. But in the sense that people have probably been burned a lot in the dating realm, I think that having stories like Larry, they serve as such heart openers. And I can see why people become so enthralled by what it represents and the promise it symbolizes, that when little like cracks in the sheen appear, that they get really upset. The thing is, when I see these posts, it makes me wonder what is missing in that person's life that is causing them to be so disjointed about it. Um, I don't know. The thing is, we don't really know what the truth is. And even if, worst case scenario, Lou is with Sarah, is that really a reason to be in this despair? Now, I could understand having huge empathy for Harry and also lamenting a uh, a very heartwarming romance. But Larry has already fulfilled his purpose. Larry has already allowed people to have an open heart. Larry has already given people a ability to see that relationships can be lovely. Maybe gives them a a resource of a kind of connection to use as a template for their own search for their beloved. And at the same time, Larry does not owe us a thing. Now, if somebody's finding themselves in such despair because of, oh my God, Louis is not with Harry, does this despair derive from feeling like, oh my God, if they didn't make it, that means there is no love, and like love is, I don't believe in love anymore? If that's why people are so despairing and they're so engaged in this parasocial connection and wanting to support this romance, they need to take a step back, because there's two ways to look at this. One is, oh my God, if Louis and Harry couldn't make it, then I won't even bother. If you're being that black and white and that absolutist about everything, you really need to take a chill pill. Go on, if you're old enough, if you're over 18, there's apparently this like nutritional thing called apothecary, and it's like non-alcoholic, but it, it will relax you. Take a pill. Um, and I really think that if you if your ability to hope about love is so contingent on the connection between two people you don't know that are celebrities, then this is something you need to work on. And anything outside of you that you have no impact on your day to day life, if it's that distressing, then you need to get a little solid in yourself, because just because Lou may be with Zara, honestly, like, I think she's a beard. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then tell me. But the only way we'll know if she's not a beard is if they really make it public. But even if they make it public, it doesn't mean that they're not a beard, because people have been bearded by studio arranged marriages. So don't fool yourself. But the thing is, I think if Lou is with Hera, like Zara, so Zooey, um, or Lara, then if anything, it should actually be inspiring that somebody could have lost their, childhood first love kind of thingy, and still had the ability to move on. And that's actually the real inspiring part, because it's sort of like it's like Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. Like, they married and divorced twice, and they would have probably gone a third round if he hadn't died. And yet Elizabeth Taylor was engaged to somebody else when Richard Burton died, and had a conniption that the fiance at the time broke up with her. But I don't think we can see people that are multiply married and constantly uh, affiance on and off as, like, really mm, turning us off love and putting us off connection. In fact, they are like lessons in resilience. Whether they're picking the right person or not is to be determined. Like, time is always the litmus test of everything. But um, you know, I really think that there's something concerning when people just their mood rises and falls on Louis and Harry, or people posting that they hope that they'll come out before they die, because they need to have all this investment of emotional uh, capital into this relationship that has existed for 15 years in the meme world of shipping. Make all that investment having been worth it. They want the ROI. Well, no one owes you an ROI. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling here, but I've been busy, and I've seen all these posts, and it's just like, oh my God, like, why are you doing this? Right? Like, why are you doing this? Um, it's just, it's sad when people give so much of themselves to an idea, and that idea is not at their obligation. So the much ado about Lou is a much ado that you don't need to be doing. Enjoy that he is at Coachella. Enjoy that we're having some new snapshots of him. Enjoy that he has been interacting with fans, and just enjoy any new music he's going to be coming out with, because he's got so many songs in him still, right? At the end of the day, if Louis and Harry didn't make it, it doesn't mean that love is dead. It just means that, we live so much longer now than we did before, that it's not unusual that the person who fits us when we were, 18, 19, 20, it's not unusual that that person is not the person that's going to fit us as we get into our 30s, get into our 40s. At the same time, it's equally possible that the person who fit us then is the same person that fit us now. Because if you've been paying attention to Coachella, you will have noticed that uh, what's if you're old enough, you'll know about the band called the Go Go's. And Belinda Carlisle posted, who's the lead singer, a photo on the 39th wedding anniversary with her husband, who she's been with for over 40 plus years. Like, they celebrate their first date, which apparently is what they like. Go to Belinda Carlisle's Facebook page post, where she says that they celebrate their first date, when they got married, or when they first met. So, you know, the Go-Go's were like kind of a big deal. They every now and then they kind of get back together, and they were performing at Coachella this weekend. And so I'm not saying that Lou and Harry outgrew each other. I'm just saying that we don't know, and we really shouldn't care. It should not fundamentally alter your well-being and your emotional state if Louis is with Zara, because apparently Zara is looking to reinvent herself, according to certain, like, entertainment news, to be a singer, because she's apparently been able to have multiple reinventions in her public life where she's gone from reality star from on Love Island to sort of a bit of an entertainment or public personality. And there is the thing called a mutually beneficial relationship where, Lou could use some of the publicity. He has a album coming out, which is, more and more this is like a bearding situation. And just calm down. I know I'm being really repetitive here, but I just really, at this point, you got to know that either Louis is being really private because he didn't want a repeat situation of him and Eleanor where people were harassing his girlfriend, and he also doesn't want to. He just he's allowed to live his life, and even I think even the most famous people, like extreme cases of people that were really famous that just went into retreat mode, they exist, and it's like what's her name? Greta Garbo was a really famous movie star in that golden era. And then towards the end of her life, or not even towards the end of her life, like sort of when she retired from acting, um, Greta Garbo really holed herself up in her uh, New York apartment. So rarely went out, like rarely did things. And it's because she had too much, like you have too much uh, other people's energies thrown at you, too much obligation to others. It just, you have enough. And I think that when you're 18 years old, you go from being this normal kid in sort of a small town in England to this worldwide fame where nobody leaves you the hell alone. No one leaves your family alone. People make up a lot of invasive tactics to communicate with you. I mean, there was the one fan that like somehow got hold of Louis' phone number and then threatened his son. Like you would, you too would become like a hermit. So honestly, if Lou is happy with Zara, and I guess I'm more of a Louis girl than a Larry, just can you kind of be happy for him and live your life?